Hi everyone, this is Lori from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make some very easy, fun tags, and I think you're going to enjoy this, so stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I used was my paper punch. Now I showed this to you last year and I absolutely love it. It cuts like butter and it's one of my favorite punches. And it makes 3 different width tags, 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch, and 2 inch, okay? And as you can see, it has 3 levels here. So I took my paper cutter and I cut a piece of 80-pound cardstock at 2.5 inches in width. And as you can tell, when I lay it down, it just slides right into that, to the correct groove, okay? And it's at a certain point, it's going to stop. And that's when you punch it, like that. And then you pull it out and you have this, okay? Now as far as the length goes, you can take your paper cutter and cut it at any length you want. Now for these projects that I'm showing you today, I cut mine at 4.5 inches for the length, okay? So I'm going to set this aside and show you how I put everything together. Okay, so in order to put these together, what I did was I chose my little felt character first, okay? And I bought these little gingerbread boys and gingerbread girls in a package at Hobby Lobby. And they were half off, so they were very inexpensive. I think I paid $1.99, something like that. And you get 2 gingerbread boys and 2 gingerbread girls in the package. So what I did was I chose the color cardstock. This is the 80-pound cardstock, Paper Studio brand from Hobby Lobby. And I tried to match the color up with the gingerbread man, what I thought would look really good. So I chose red. And then, of course, this tag is 2.5 inches wide by 4.5 inches in length. Okay? And then I chose some scrapbook paper that I thought would look good with this combination. So that's how I started out with all of my tags. Okay? And, of course, I cut this at the same width, 2.5 inches, okay? And as far as the length goes, I just kind of measured this up, and right below this little curve here, that's where I decided to cut this paper off at, okay? And I think that was about, let me measure it. Yeah, it's about 3 1/4 inches in height. Okay, so I'm going to take some Fabri-Tac. I'm going to put some on this paper. Now, I try to be fairly quick with this part because the Fabri-Tac does grab. It only really gives you just a very short time to where it grabs and you won't be able to move it around as much. And so what I do is I just make sure that I'm touching the surface before I glue it on, and then I just kind of slide it over like this. And you want to make sure you're touching that surface because you want it to be even, okay? I'm going to slide it over a little bit. And if you see any traces of white, like here, you can go back in with your paper cutter and just kind of shave it off. Or you can just take your scissors right here and very carefully shave it off if you feel like you can do this and you've got a fairly steady hand. And sometimes you don't have to do this at all. Just depends on how you cut it. Okay, so I think this looks good. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take these super glue foam mounts. I bought this at the Dollar Tree and it was in the hardware section, not the craft section. And it's the Super Glue brand. I really like this. So I took a couple of little mounts and I mounted this on the little base here, and it's okay if it goes over the little base a little bit. That's fine. I think it'll just add to your tag and give it some dimension. And then of course I added 3 more mounts on the back. Okay, now I am going to set this aside just for a second, okay, because I want to glue some rickrack here at the edge, the top, and then a piece of this ribbon here at the bottom. Okay, so let me get my Fabri-Tac, and I put just a little bit here at the bottom, run this all the way to the edge, and this just kind of coordinates with the paper and the sticker. I got this ribbon here from Temu. It was real cheap. I think I paid like 78 cents for 5 yards or something like that. Okay. Alright, and I'm just going to turn over the tag so I can see, and then just cut it where it needs to be cut. And then I'll do the same thing with the top here. Put a little bit here, and then the rickrack. Okay, make sure that's right on the edge here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over and snip this off. And then this. And this rickrack is pretty thick, so okay, so I'm just going to kind of hover it around in the middle, what I think is the middle. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think, right here. Yeah, it looks even on both sides, so I'm just going to press it down. And then it is stuck. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is put some little buttons here that I found from Hobby Lobby. I thought they were cute. And I'm going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on this. Move it over on top of the glitter buttons. And I think I got these for 99 cents a package. It's in the fabric section, and where they have the Sewology buttons. And so they're hanging on that rack. And you can get them for 99 cents every other week. They usually go on sale. All right, and let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I found some little tiny hearts, little self-adhesive hearts in my stash. I must have picked them up at Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if I got them at the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby, but one of them. And I was going to set this right in the middle of the bow here. Like that. Okay. Make sure that's nice and even. Can't have a crooked bow. Alrighty. And for the eyes, I did make the eyes a little darker. I just took a Sharpie pen and just kind of twisted it like this and made his eyes just a little darker. I didn't touch his mouth because I knew if I did that, I would mess it up. Okay, and we'll add something else to this little gingerbread man, but I'm going to wait till the last to do that. Then I decided to take these 3 green buttons and put this here at the bottom. So I'm just going to put a little Fabri-Tac, and I always line up the dots. As you can see, the dots are all going vertically. I think it just adds to the card when you have them going the right way, the holes in the buttons. Okay, and this will be in the middle. And then I'm going to put some glue on this as well. Okay. Okay, so I think that looks good there. Okay, so next we're going to make a little candy cane bow at the top. And I have this nice thick baker's twine, and I cut about 30 inches off this, okay? And I'm going to take three of my fingers and lay this down like this, and then I'm just going to wrap this like so. So then I'm going to take this off my fingers, I'm going to hold it. And I have this little bitty clear rubber band here, little hair band. And I'm just going to wrap it around about 3 times. Okay, so now it's nice and tight in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to take a piece of this baker's twine and kind of cover up the rubber band by tying this on it. And I'll just make a couple of simple overhand knots. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this like so. I'm going to kind of open up these loops a little bit on both sides. Okay, and this can be cut a little bit shorter, I believe. All right, so now we're going to take some glue and glue it right here, right below the hole in the tag. Put a fairly decent amount of glue there to hold it. Where it looks like that. Okay. And then I'm taking this flat little peppermint. It's supposed to be a polymer clay peppermint. I bought this package from Temu, and they have different sizes in here. And I don't think they call it polymer clay, but honestly it feels like rubber. So, I don't know. But it works, and it's cute, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on that and set this right here in the middle. And leave this to dry, because this is going to need to dry some, that's for sure. I want this just below the hole. Okay. Alright, so this is going to need some time to dry. The last thing on the card I'm going to do is glue this little polymer clay candy cane on here. And you can use any type of little candy cane. They have these at Hobby Lobby in the package, not the polymer clay kind, but just the plain plastic kind. And they're just as cute. I got these from Temu. I put just a little bit on there. And I think I'm going to add it to this side. There we go. So he's holding a little candy cane. And so before I can do the very last part, I'm going to need this to dry. So I'll be back. Okay, so this is dried. And you can see how this bow is nice and full. Now, if you want a bow that's a little less full, just use less loops. I used 30 on this one, and I think, this was probably about half that down here. But, so what I did was I wanted to make the back look a little finished. So I just put some glue on this tag, the Fabri-Tac glue, and I put a piece of ribbon and then just cut around the edges here. You don't have to do that. That's just something that I did, okay? So I'm going to take some of this red organza ribbon. I really like it because it has a seam at the bottom right here and at the top, and it prevents it from fraying. So you can cut this and make bows with it, and it doesn't seem to fray. And I purchased this where all of the bows, or excuse me, where all of the ribbon is at Hobby Lobby in the wedding section. So I'm folding this in half, and I'm just going to try to slip this through. And then I'm going to open this up and just gently pull this on through like that. And there you have it. Now, I did put a little bit of the cranberry stickles on the little gingerbread man's cheeks, and I let it dry. That's why it looks flat, because it will look puffy when you first put it on, and when it dries, it'll flatten out. So it's not something you have to do. I just wanted his cheeks to really show up, so. So, that's what I did here for this tag. So now we're going to move on, and I'll show you how I put together the little reindeer tag. Okay, so I already glued my scrapbook paper onto my tag, because I already showed you guys how to do that. And this time I remembered to make corners here at the bottom. You don't have to do that, that's just my personal preference. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my ribbon on. So I'm going to glue this on the top with Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to go across like this. And place this right about here. Okay. Then I'm going to flip it over and cut this end part off. I think I'm going to move this down a little bit too, if I can. Yeah, that was it. I put it up a little too high, I think, so trying to move it down a little. Yeah, that's better. Okay, just like that. Now this bottom piece, this is not a ribbon. This is the fun foam that I buy at Hobby Lobby, the Silly Winks. And I cut this with my paper cutter at 1/2 inch, and it cut beautifully. I just ran the blade on my paper cutter up and down a couple of times, and it cut. So I'm going to glue this here at the bottom, alright? And I'm going to put the glue on the actual tag here so I can cut the ends off before it's dried. If I put it on here, then I'll just be cutting through glue. And I'm going around. And then on the other side, I'm going to go around there. Okay. Okay, so it looks like this in the front. Alright, so now I'm going to add 3 little buttons here, here, and here. I think I cut this a little too close. I'm going to fix this real quick before we move on to the next part, okay? Okay, so I fixed it. I took this off and put another one on. And sometimes you have to do that, and that's okay. So let me glue 3 little buttons here at the bottom. And I'm going to start with the little white button. And I did buy these, I don't know if I told you or not, I did buy these at Hobby Lobby. Make sure the holes are going vertical. And put one button at the very end. And then, let's see, like that. They're so tiny. And then I'll put one button here in the middle. This one's the red polka dot button. And put this here. Okay. Alright, so we have them just like that. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to glue some holly leaves and some berries. And I just have this little paper punch that's just a holly leaf, and so I cut it out. And I'm not going to put the glue on the actual leaves. I'm just going to put some glue here on the stem, okay? And the reason for that is I don't want this to be glued flat to the surface, because I want to be able to lift these holly leaves up to give it some dimension, like that, see? So put a holly leaf there, and the other holly leaf on the other side. I'm going to put it just in the stem. I'm not real worried about any glue showing in between right now because we'll be covering that anyway with berries. And you can lift up the leaves afterwards if you want. Okay, so now I have 3 little berries, and I purchased a stem full of little berries when I was at Hobby Lobby. They had some that were larger and they had some that were smaller, and so I got the ones that were a little smaller. These are extremely lightweight because they're just styrofoam. So I'm going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on here, and I'm going to start by putting 2 berries at the top and the 3rd berry right here at the bottom in between them. Okay? Ay. Sorry about that. This can be... Okay, and then the 3rd berry goes right about here. Let me lift this up so I can see what I am doing. Okay. Oh my goodness. This glue on my hands is driving me crazy. Okay. It's normally not that much of a hassle for me to put these on, but for some reason when I'm on camera, it happens. Okay, so I'm going to allow this to dry before I do the rest, and then I'll be back. Okay, so the next thing I did was I took the foam mounts and placed a couple here on the back of the little deer, and I placed the deer a little bit off to the side where his nose is going off the side of this base a little bit, because I wanted to add a little snowflake that I made with the Silly Winks Fun Foam and my Martha Stewart Snowflake Punch. And then I added a little rhinestone in the center of the snowflake. So now I'm going to put a little tiny heart here, right here on the side of the scarf, right here. Okay. And this is really tiny, these hearts are. But I thought they were cute. Let me open up my Fabri-Tac, which I probably should have done beforehand. Okay. And I'm just going to set this right here on the scarf. I thought it would be pretty. Okay. And then, well, I'll show you at the very end. Okay. So next, I placed 3 foam mounts on the back. So I'm just going to peel these off. Sorry about that. Okay. And I'm going to place this here, right in the middle. Not going to press it down yet. I'm going to allow it to hover first. I think that looks good, just about there. And see, we have just enough room here, just enough room here. That's why you want to put the berries way up there, right directly underneath the hole. Can you see that? The berries are right underneath the hole. Okay, So I'm going to press this down. All right. Okay. And then next I'm going to glue a little piece of ribbon at the bottom, just like I did the with a little gingerbread tag right here at the bottom. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut that. And this. And then we have this on the back. Okay. All right. And then next, I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. With this, I'm going to fold this in half, 12 inches of the organza ribbon. I'm going to fold this, and then I'm going to slip it right through that hole. Like that. And then I'm going to hold this together and just cut this at an angle at the top, just so it'll look nice. Now if you want to, you can, like I did with this, take a little bit of gold thread and tie this together right at the bottom part. Now that's not a necessary step, it's just if you want to. Okay, so I took a little piece of gold beading cord and I just tied a little bow right here around the organza ribbon. It's not something you have to do. I just did that just because I thought it looked pretty. Okay, and then I also put some stickles right here on the reindeer's little nose, just to brighten it up a little and give it some extra sparkle. And I allowed that to dry. Okay, so there you have it. We have our little reindeer. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll move on and I'll show you how to make the Santa tag. Okay, so we have our little Santa tag base, and we have a different color tag here, and with the scrapbook paper that I chose. So the next thing that we're going to do is take some Fabri-Tac, and right across here, I'm going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac and Rick Rack, just like that. And then of course the bottom, I'm going to place this. Okay, so let's put some Fabri-Tac across here. Sorry about that. It's my little kitty opening my closet door. Peaches. And so we're just going to turn this around, and I'm going to cut this. And then this. And then cut around here. Did you notice I remembered to use my corner punch here? So this is the way this looks. And so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put on some little green rhinestones at the very bottom here. So let me grab all this. And even though this is adhesive, I'm still going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on it. So I'll put this right in the middle. And then one here on the side. And then the other one on the other side. Like this. So we have what looks like this. Okay. Okay, and so next we're going to do the same thing as we did before with placing the holly leaves up there with the 3 berries. Okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so before I put the holly leaves on, I went ahead and took some foam mounts and I put those, I put it behind the Santa and then put the Santa on the base, and then I took some more foam mounts and put them on the back. And I'm going to put Santa on first before I put my holly leaves on. Okay? And there we go. So I'm going to place Santa right about here, I think. Yeah, that'll work. That's pretty good. Now here, let me... And I'm just hovering, I'm not pressing down on it yet. Yeah, okay, so now I think I can press down. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to put my holly leaves up there, just like before. And I'm just going to put this right here. And I'm going to place it right about here. And then one on the other side too. So let's do this. Okay. And then 2 berries at the top and 1 berry at the bottom. I try not to get it too overloaded with glue. I got a little much on the little deer tag that I made, so I'm going to do a little less on this one. Okay. So let's want to do that. I want to leave some of the opening right here in the hole so I can slip the organza ribbon through, but I'm going to have to let this dry first, of course. Okay, and I'm going to take a little candy cane right here, put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the back so I can just set this about here. Alright, so this is going to dry, and once this is completely dried, I'll slip the ribbon through. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I slipped the red organza ribbon through just like I did the other tags, and I tied a little gold cord on it here, and so that's about it, and I'm just allowing this to continue to dry. And on the back I put a little piece of ribbon just to make it look nice. I did that on all of the cards, as a matter of fact. Here's another Santa one that I made, and I put a ribbon on the back of that too. And then with the gingerbread tags, I did the same thing. Put the ribbon here at the bottom, and then with the little reindeer tags, I did the same thing on the back here with the red and white ribbon at the bottom. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you give it a try. They were a lot of fun to make. So you take care, and God bless each and every one of you, and have a very Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.